Hump Day.
Yes, sir.
Humping Badger Day. And
Got out.
Maybe if you're watching right now, we're down a man, but in a good way. I'm going to let him announce why David Cone is not here this morning, but it's a really good thing, a very, very exciting thing. I don't know if he'll come in the chat. He may call in. But we do have replacement Cone and his sidekick, Pylon Boy, right next to him.
Really?
Yeah. So we've added in Pylon Boy.
No face.
No face. He hasn't earned the right to have a face yet.
Well, you have to earn that.
You have to earn the right to have a face.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. Well, welcome to 2024.
Thanks.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great.
Before we get into it, typically we got David gives a fun fact, but he's not here. I want to talk about just for a second what you told me the other day about. I was talking about you getting an alarm for your apartment, so in case somebody broke in, because you don't have a dog or anything. Like, I don't understand not having an animal unless you're allergic to protect the house.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't understand it. But you brought up a point of you hope somebody.
Yeah, no one would dare break into my house. I slowly crack my door open a little more each day, waiting.
Each night or each day?
Day and night.
That
waiting.
feels smart.
Hoping. Hold on. Waiting, hoping, praying somebody. Because look, if you break into my house at 2:30 in the morning, all right, I just lost my 9th Rocket League game in a row. I'm sitting in the corner in a nun outfit with a longbow, just waiting. Please, somebody, to relieve me of this pain. Have you ever seen a controller go 130 miles per hour?
So you're saying if somebody breaks in your house in the middle of the night and they catch you at the wrong time, coming off?
Oh, it's always the wrong time.
Losing video games, like that, you're hoping they do.
Yeah. No, I will. You will walk in and it'll look like Randy Johnson is throwing a slider at you right when you walk in.
Should we test this? Give out your address, see who comes in?
Please, look. I've already tried to do it once. They won't let me.
Okay.
Well, they're putting steroids in the Olympics now, so
that
who the
is
hell
true.
knows? We break down the keys to victory for the Chiefs and the Niners in Super Bowl 58. College basketball is in full swing, including a huge slate tonight. And we share our reactions to some of the most viral clips of the week. Take your phone calls, questions, comments, and more. I'm Jake Crain, and it's a Humping Badger Wednesday. Welcome to Crain & Company. Now, Super Bowl 58 is a tale as old as time. On one hand, you have the golden boy, the chosen one, Patrick Mahomes leading the Chiefs. And on the other hand, Mr. Irrelevant, right? The ugly duckling, last pick of the draft, Brock Purdy, leading a 49ers organization that we know has won many Super Bowls in the past. So, when we're breaking down this game, and there is a ton of different caveats to look at, there's one key to each side that I think is going to end up making the difference. One, if you're the San Francisco 49ers, you cannot get off to a bad start like you have the last two games. You were able to get away with it against the Packers, who didn't have a lot of experience in the playoff with the current roster they have now. You're able to slip by at home in the bad weather at the end. The Lions basically handed you the game in the second half due to bad decision-making and dropped passes. But if you get behind this Kansas City Chiefs team, which is one of the most complete teams in the NFL, especially with the way the defense has been playing in the second half, they are not going to let the foot off the throat. Patrick Mahomes and this unit, regardless of how talented they are compared to the two they've played before, is not going to give you a breath of fresh air or open up the door for you to come back. When they smell blood, they're like a shark in the water. And if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, it's pretty simple. The game plan's very important. We know that. The scouting report is very important. But where the Chiefs have not only been winning, but dominating, it's been in the second half adjustment battle. That's where the game is really won or lost. You don't know exactly what somebody is going to do to you until they actually do it. But the way the Chiefs have adjusted in the second half has really made the difference, and then being able to get back to the Super Bowl to add to what already has been a dynastical run, as maybe Travis Kelce and a few others drift off into the sunset after. Either way, it should be a hell of a game. I hope it comes down to the wire. We're going to keep breaking it down. But Blaine, former Western Colorado wide receiver, sitting to my right, Replacement Cone's there. Obviously, David's going to let you know why he's not here. But give me one key for the Kansas City Chiefs to beat the San Francisco 49ers.
Well, I mean, it's the key that's brought them to the greatness that they are, and it's the connection between Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. You go back and look at these last 3 games. I mean, go back to look at the Ravens, over 100 yards. Game before that, 75 yards, 2 touchdowns. Game before that, 75 yards, 1 touchdown. It all starts with their best players, and that is Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. And you look up the lineup that they will have against the 49ers, against Fred Warner, against Greenlaw. They will be matched up in man coverage. If you are the 49ers, 1, how do you stop that? And 2, you got to take their best player out of receiver, and I believe that is Isaiah Pacheco. One thing about the 49ers, let's look at their weakness. And what is that? They don't stop the run that well.
Yeah.
And you go back and look at the Lions game. Lions had, I believe, 180 yards on the ground. And the Chiefs are an extremely balanced football team. It all starts with Isaiah Pacheco. And if they can live to that 4 to 5 yards of play, that only sets up what? It'll set up Patrick Mahomes. It'll help these receivers out. And it'll also hurt the 49ers probably where they lost their Pro Bowl safety, and that's in the back end. So if I'm the Chiefs, you have to get the run game going, and that will open up the Travis Kelce, the Rashid Rice, the big explosive plays that we haven't really seen from the Chiefs all year.
Yeah, well, the interior offensive line for the Chiefs has been playing really well, and
No
agree.
Joe Thuney. He's going to be out.
Yeah, I know. They've seemed to make up for every deformity they've had throughout the year. That's one way to put it. But I think you're 100% correct. You're not going to be able to stop the pass game or the play action game. I don't think Patrick Mahomes and this offense gets enough credit for what they do off play action. If you don't stop the run, and we're not saying you shut it down totally, but if the Chiefs are going to live in 3rd and 3 and 3rd and 2 and even 3rd and 4, and they've got a 2-way go, you don't know whether it's run pass, they're going to kill you. The best way to stop Travis Kelce is to get their ass in 3rd and 8. And it's passing. So at the end of the day, you do get him in 3rd and passing. We know what Rashid Rice has been, but you got to focus on Travis Kelce, right? Whether that's running 2-man. We've seen Travis line up in the hip. We've seen him line up flexed out, right? Hell, they could put him outside if they wanted to. We see him in the slot and motioning and do all that. But if you take him away, Justin Watson, you're going to have to beat me. Valdez-Scantling, you're going to have to beat me. I know you've done it the whole playoffs, but you're going to have to show me that you can keep doing it. But you cannot get in 3rd and 3, let that play action hit, and all of a sudden Travis Kelce's running around like the girl from The Sound of Music, just wide ass open on top of the mountain. But on the other side, when you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, right, and what they have to be able to do to beat the San Francisco 49ers, what's one key there for you?
For the Chiefs or the 49ers?
Well, the 49ers have to stop Travis Kelce, you said, right? But you said
I said the Chiefs.
going.
No, I said the Chiefs.
So for the 49ers, the inverse.
So for the 49ers right now, and I mean, this Chiefs defense have picked up a little bit in the playoffs, but throughout the year, they weren't great against the run. And who do you have at running back if you are the 49ers? In my opinion, the best running back in the NFL, and that's Christian McCaffrey. You don't only need to get him going in the running game, but you need to get him going in the passing game. If I'm the 49ers, I'm probably running a lot of screen game early to CMC because these DNs for the Kansas City Chiefs will get upfield, and they will get upfield quick. And another thing, Brock Purdy, you have to limit mistakes. All right? You cannot come out here, get balls batted and throw 2 interceptions. You will not win against this Chiefs team if you have more than 1 turnover. So that's a big thing. And another thing is, to my opinion, Brock Purdy's legs on 3rd down. You go back in the last couple weeks, Brock Purdy has made impact plays on 3rd downs. And Brock Purdy was the difference. A lot of people want to talk about, we hate this saying, game manager. He's not going to lose it for you, but he's not going to win it for you. Brock Purdy made a couple plays last week that won them that football game. So can he be the same guy? But the only thing that worries me is this. Right now, the line, I believe, is plus 2.5. Patrick Mahomes is 10-1 when he's an underdog against the spread.
Follow the signs.
10-1. Look, and I know probably the public's money's on the Chiefs.
I'm betting against them.
Probably 7. Look, I bet the Chiefs the whole playoffs, not because I want them to win, all right? Because, look, I mean, the last thing I want to do is see Taylor Swift 60 times on Super Bowl, which is going to happen. But my guy's 10-1 against the spread. And at some point, you got to lay your money, and you got to lay your money with the public.
Well, the problem in defending the 49ers is they have so many players. I mean, you can't double everybody. I mean, you got so many impact guys. They're going to sit in 11 personnel. What are you going to do, load the box? And now you're just one-on-one with Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel and Jawan Jennings.
You got to pick your poison, but you just can't let Christian McCaffrey be.
You can't, but if you're lining up in 11 personnel, what I'm going to do, just stuff. I mean, the Chiefs have been really good in the back end with L'Jarius Sneed, the way they're playing in the secondary. But that to me is the most fascinating part, right? If you got to rob Peter to pay Paul, I would much rather rob Peter to pay Paul to stop Christian McCaffrey, like you're saying, and take my chances, down the field with the periphery guys that can still beat you, rather than letting Christian just run up and down the field on me. But you brought up the batted balls comment. Chris Jones has been so good. Not, I always say a batted ball is almost as good as a sack. So if you're the 49ers, are you getting the ball out quick on the outside? Are you trying to frustrate the Kansas City Chiefs defensive line to maybe get those hands down so Brock Purdy has better windows to throw through? How do you do that? You do it wide and you do it quick.
Yeah, it kind of brings me back to my point earlier. I think a lot of it's going to do with the screen game. I really do. The screen game, how many end arounds are we going to see with Deebo? Right? How many bubble screens, the RPO with CMC, are we going to see from
especially in the red zone?
Yeah. So if it's me, I'm making this Chiefs defense run. You're going to have to run. So it's hard to beat these guys downhill. All right, with Chris Jones, Nick Bolton, with the guys that have in the interior that brought the other linebacker.
You got to beat them side to side.
You have to. It's like the Georgia defense to me, which I know I got disproven against in their matchup against Alabama. Alabama whooped their ass between the tackles, but it's hard to beat this Chiefs team between the tackles. So it's screens. We're going to stretch you laterally, and then we're going to hit you down the field.
Definitely. Well, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. I know the chat's hot. Whether you're watching on Rumble, YouTube, listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, dailywire.com. Make sure you share the show. We really appreciate you guys. We've been growing like a weed because of y'all. It's blowing up, and we can't say thank you enough. We got live calls that are going to drop in at 7:15 a.m. Central. That's when the lines are going to open. 1-855-236-3228. But before we get to the Booster Club, remember, if you donate in there and it's on topic, we'll read it at the time. If not, we will read it at the end. But before we do that, guys, we all know you're getting older, okay? Maybe you're not in your prime anymore. Maybe you want to get back there a little bit. It's tough to turn back the clock. All right, but with Nugenix, it's the closest thing to becoming Benjamin Button and or inventing a time machine that you've ever seen. Because, look, as we age, we lose energy, man. All right, I'm getting older. I'm about to be level 35 this year. I had less energy due to the natural loss of testosterone. I know you went and got yours checked and then got Nugenix. Yeah. And now you're just walking around doing push-ups and staring people in the eyes.
Total T. Like, I woke up this morning and just punched a tree for 2.5 hours.
God, I love that.
Yeah.
You got a harder handshake, too.
Oh, for sure.
It's really helped you out. New energy, muscle, drive, and even more passion with Nugenix Total T Testosterone Booster. With Testofen, like I said, it'll help you turn back the clock and re-energize your life. And you can prove it to yourself risk-free. All right? You could try it before you buy it. There's nothing to lose and everything to gain. And right now, you can get a complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. All right, now listen to me. Here's the instructions. When you text 231231, that's the number, 231231, and you enter the keyword Crain, that's CRAIN. And if you text right now, you'll get a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest and most powerful fat incinerator ever, with key ingredients to help you lose fat fast and get lean even faster. That's absolutely free. So text 231231, enter keyword Crain, 231231. Enter keyword Crain. Watch how fast I read this. Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated text message. Consent not required to purchase. Message data rates apply. Number one, doctor recommended brand by primary care physicians based on an independent survey conducted by IQVIA 2022. That may be a personal land speed record. And also,
that's pretty good.
We're going to put the link to merch in the chat. If you love us, you want to hold us, you want to treasure us, treasure us, Chad.
Uncle.
Grab some merch, hoodie, candle. We got a bunch of goods in there. We even got a Lady Ballers jersey. Working on getting some more of that merch out. But let's get to the Booster
Club. All right, Booster Club, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you donate and it's on topic, I will read it. If it's not, I'm going to wait for the end of the show and probably make fun of you. But let's get some questions rolling. We're going to start off with Mike Rocky. What is up, Mike? He says, KC has an improved defense, but I like CMC to be able to have success as well. Should be a very interesting and good matchup.
Well, I agree with you 100%. What I find fascinating, if you're Kyle Shanahan, it's the big game. It's the Super Bowl. We know what happened in the last one when you were the OC with the Falcons when you were up 28-3. I think it's the perfect balance between obviously feeding Christian McCaffrey like a fat kid at a Golden Corral, but also using him like a decoy. Like you talk about the screen game, right? Let's say We're getting a lot of swing passes to Christian McCaffrey. We're getting a lot of screens wide. How many times are you going to get that, hey, we're going to flare out McCaffrey one side, George Kittle works backside on the screen. It's just finding that perfect balance between feeding Christian McCaffrey enough where you can put your head on the pillow at night and say, we gave our best player, which Christian McCaffrey is your best player, the ball enough, but we also used him as a decoy, which can be just as effective to go after matchups that we like on the other side. Because again, it's like playing the Warriors when they were in their prime, or playing the Heat with the big three. You can't double everybody. That's where the 49ers have been able to overwhelm people. But I'm going to tell you that obviously the first quarter and a half of this game is important. You always say the most important parts of the game are the first 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes. If the 49ers get down against this Chiefs team, man, just especially with the way the defense is playing, if anybody can bottle these guys up, it's Spags and that Chiefs defense.
Is this the type of game that Deebo Samuel freaks out?
I think in the red zone is where he's going to freak out. I think that's where you're going to get the most bang for your buck. Because, again, he's a guy that's so versatile. He's your Swiss Army knife. You can put him in the backfield. You can put him at the slot. You can put him outside. Hell, you can put Deebo at quarterback. He can probably kick field goals.
Probably out there selling hot dogs. Let's go to Doobie84. What is up, my guys? It's Super Bowl week with the best sports show in the country.
Damn right.
Let's go. Name a player that no one thinks is going to be the difference, but will end up being the difference.
I got one. You ready for it? Justin Watson.
I've been waiting on this.
Look, he's just good enough to affect the game in a big way, right? But he's sneaky enough where you're not going to hone in on him. Like, I'm just telling you, I don't think it'd be crazy to sprinkle a little bit on a Justin Watson.
What about a 49ers guy?
A 49ers. Give me...
Is it a Jawan Johnson?
Is it Jawan Jennings?
Is it Jawan Jennings?
Jawan Jennings? That's what it feels like to me, right? Because everybody's going to go McCaffrey or Kittle, and then it'll go Deebo and Ayuk. Give me Jawan Jennings. Give me Justin Watson for the Chiefs. Give me Jawan Jennings for the 49ers.
Let's go to Noah LeJew. Noah's what is up, my guy? Says Chiefs have been winning with good defense, but good luck stopping CMC. Who ends up winning the tight end matchup, Travis Kelce or George Kittle?
Well, we say that the 49ers, they've been kind of hemmed up a little bit, especially early in games. Let's remember the way the Lions kind of threw away the second half of that game. The 49ers haven't been coming out and moving the ball at a very high rate. We'll see. I mean, it's a new game. Obviously, we know what the Chiefs have done in the second half on defense. But if anybody can stop this 49ers offense, I think it's this Chiefs defense. I mean, right now, honestly, in the chat, whether it's the Rumble chat, hey, if you're on Rumble, make sure you hit that subscribe button or whatever the heck it is on Rumble. But what I want to know from the audience is, when you're looking at the Chiefs, is the defense better than the offense? I mean, let's be honest. Is the Chiefs defense the best part of the team right now?
I don't know. I really don't know because in the Ravens game, yes.
Well, let's pull up the scores.
Go back.
Let's pull up the scores their last 8 games.
Last 8 games?
Yeah. I'm talking about overtime.
You're just not talking playoffs.
I'm not talking playoffs because they've been doing this. This is the thing that the Chiefs have been doing. I mean, over time, this defense is shown to be the best part. I mean, I've got it right here. Their last 8 games. All right, they gave up 10. They gave up 24. They gave up 7. They gave up 12. They gave up 17. They gave up 20. They gave up 17. They gave up 20. They gave up 27 to the Packers on December 3rd. I'm just telling you. I think the defense may be the best part of this Chiefs team.
But realistically, other than Buffalo, Raiders, one of the worst offenses in the league. Green Bay during the regular season wasn't great offensively. New England, you know what you have there. You played the Raiders again. You played a Bengals team without Joe Burrow, and you played a Chargers team without Justin Herbert.
But, they've been doing it in the playoffs.
True, but I think it's just a really good mix. I think these guys are just a really good. I think the offense has played better in the playoffs.
Even Stevens?
It might be even Stevens, to be honest.
All right, let's go a couple more.
Okay, let's go to Brian Hall. Brian, what is up? He says, I'm hoping this game ends 0-0 and both teams go home without a trophy. The trophy carries over for next year, and the Super Bowl champs wins 2 trophies, a la Kirk Cousins comes out in halftime and wins the game for everybody.
So you're the football Scrooge, but I can understand that. I can respect that. You like neither team. I want neither team to win.
A lot of NFL people out there hate both these teams.
Yeah, and look, I get it.
Breaking news, Connie Ron says Blaine looks particularly handsome this morning. In fact, better looking than Sam Hartman
Really?
That's
I
really,
thought this
yeah.
was a trust tree of truth, not just a bunch
So
of
that's
lies.
just the new. I guess everyone's saying that.
Well, wait till you see the video we released on that from the Senior Bowl. There were a lot of people asked a lot of questions about the way Blaine looked compared to Sam Hartman.
Yeah, a lot of positive
Pretty
reviews.
high-profile guys.
Yeah.
You got a couple answers I think you're going to like.
I agree. Let's go to Edward O. Nussbus Driver. He says, Chiefs offense struggled a good portion of the regular season. Their defense is slept on because the announcers can't stop gushing over everything Patrick Mahomes does.
I agree with that, but if you're the Chiefs, don't you kind of want it that way? I would rather sneak up on you on the defensive side of the ball and let you just worry. You're already going to worry about Patrick Mahomes the most anyway. So why would I not just kind of play into that role? I think the Chiefs defense kind of likes that. I think it may be a chip on the shoulder situation where in back rooms, hey, they may not be talking about us. We may not be the poster boy, but we're one of the main cogs that's been driving this ship.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on if Chris Collinsworth is out there.
Now, here's a guy.
If Patrick Mahomes is walking into the stadium, Patrick Mahomes can do no wrong in Chris Collinsworth.
No.
He can throw a swing pass. That's a regular swing. You would have thought Chris Collinsworth would say he built the pyramids.
No, I don't think Chris Collinsworth's ever said anything bad about anybody.
I don't think so either. Let's go to Eddie. What is up, my guy? Says Purdy's air yards on his throws is number 1 in the league. I don't think he'll be relying on the screen game like every other QB. I think a lot of that has to do with them setting up the screen game.
Well,
and their running game with CMC.
Well, look, if he's talking about, is he talking about yards passing or down the field?
I think he's talking about down the field yards, yeah.
Yeah, but again, if batted balls are a problem, and it's something that's a problem early in this game, one way to slow down that pass rush, a couple ways. Number 1 is the screen game. Obviously, number 2 is getting the ball out wide quickly, and number 3 is play action. Well, if you can't run the ball, then you can't really run the play action. If you can't run the ball, then it's going to be tougher to get them in screen situations off of play actions. A lot of screens are run off play actions. We're not talking about spitting the bubble or spitting the now out to the slot wide receiver. So, look, Brock Purdy's not afraid to push the ball down the field. I think they've kind of had to push the ball down the field these last couple of games because they've had to be able to score late. And when you got Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk and Jawan Jennings and George Kittle, my ass would push the ball down the field too. So we want a key to victory from you guys too calling in as well. You got something over there?
I was going to go to the Rumble chat real quick to our boy Bro Drew. It says KC defense is solid for sure, but doesn't it seem like the offense is just 2 people with 9 blockers?
You know, a little bit, because obviously Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes have been getting the shine, but if it was just that, I don't think they'd be having the production in the playoffs that Travis Kelce and Mahomes have had, because you just double Travis Kelce and nobody else can beat you. I'm telling you right now, the interior of that offensive line with Pacheco has opened up everything, and having Rashee Rice, right? Marquez Valdez-Scantling catching a couple balls down the field, they've been super clutch, right? But I don't think you can rely on that. That's been kind of the cherry on top of the whipped cream that's on top of the icing. Rashee Rice or on top of the ice cream. Rashee Rice has been the whipped cream, right? He has given you a guy on the outside, right, that you have to take seriously to open up the interior, to open up the seam, so guys like, Travis Kelce can have success. But when you look at the way Pacheco catches the ball out of the backfield, when you look at what Clyde Edwards-Helaire can do out of the backfield, they have just enough. It's like those Patriots teams with Gronkowski, right? Even when they didn't have the best wide receivers outside, they were good enough. You had guys like James White in the red zone that could open it up in the pass game. The Chiefs are built a little bit in that mold on offense. So, again, if it was just Patrick and Travis, right, it would be a lot easier to stop, but it's not. And that's the problem with playing the Chiefs right now.
I mean, I think Andy Reid just does such a good job.
Well, Andy Reid, look, Andy Reid does a really good job of attacking every layer, right? You have some guys, some play callers that their stuff is really good down the field. You have some guys where their intermediate and short stuff is really good and the down the field stuff may be lacking. Maybe the run game isn't as exotic. Andy Reid's got just the whole Waffle House menu. If you want exotic runs, if you want exotic screen game, if you want exotic down the field, or if you want peanut butter and jelly on all 3 layers, he's got it. All he does is just sit around with a glass of milk and warm cookies and just come up with witchery and just eat. That's what he does. What a great life. What a fantastic
Cheeseburgers,
life.
man.
Cheeseburgers, man.
Cheeseburgers.
God, I love them. All right, I'm going to get you a college basketball update. We're going to get back to the Booster Club.
Right.
Remember, the phone call's open at 7:15 a.m. Central. But last night, had a little bit of craziness. We got some great games tonight. We're going to throw that up on the screen, kind of the top 25 matchups tonight. Let's get to those, and then we'll get to last night. We got LSU at Tennessee, right? The SEC right now is just super drunk. I don't think they could walk a straight line. You got to like Tennessee at home, coming off that ass beating of a lifetime that they gave Kentucky. scoring 103 in Rupp. With Wisconsin and Michigan, Michigan is 7-15 right now. Is Juwan Howard?
You better slap somebody, Juwan. Wake him up.
At what point do you move on from Juwan Howard? I mean, this is bad. There's no. I know Michigan lost some pieces. I know you lost Hunter Dickinson to Kansas, but being 7-15 in basketball at a place like Michigan, it's unacceptable. I mean, and then winning a national championship in football, obviously, is not shining a beautiful light on the basketball program. But then we got the Iron Bowl of basketball. Number 16, Bama, at number 12, Auburn. Auburn lost earlier on the road at Alabama. Tough place to play in Coleman, especially when the lights are off. But Blaine, Auburn, Alabama tonight. How are you feeling?
Terrible.
Terrible.
I feel terrible about it. Look, there's something about being, first of all, basketball. You never know. You never know in basketball. I think it's a lot clearer to bet a football game, especially college, than it is basketball, and especially this Auburn team. Well, you got to feel one good thing about it. If you're Auburn, you're at home.
Yeah.
Right? And it's one of the best best atmospheres, in my opinion, in college basketball if you're walking into the jungle. But this Alabama team is one of those teams. I think Sears right now is probably playing the best, maybe in the SEC.
I'd say him and Dalton.
If you go look at it, and this team is dangerous because if they get hot from three, they're really tough to stop. They're really tough. Auburn is deep. Auburn is long. They have depth. I think they're doing a lot better running the offense. But I never like betting against Bama.
Well, here's the way I look at it. It's tough to bet against Auburn at home. I agree with you. I think Neville right now is probably a top 5 atmosphere in college basketball, and that's a kudos to Bruce Pearl. But what Nate Oates is doing, I think this could be his best coaching job so far, because if you look, Grant Nelson really hasn't come on offensively. He's done a pretty good job as a rim protector. They're getting Nick Pringle, a big guy, back tonight coming off suspension. But if you're playing Alabama, they're going to shoot their threes, and they want to run. They do a really good job of forcing their tempo onto you. If I'm Auburn, it seems when Bama gets in these lulls, the guy that brings them out of the lull is Mark Sears. He's like the bridge. Yeah, Mark Sears can get hot when the rest of them are hot, when Reitzel's shooting well, when Estrada, who's a guy that can score in a lot of different ways, is able to do some things. We saw what Stevenson was able to do the other day. But when they go through these lulls when they're not shooting well, Mark Sears is the guy that pulls them out of those lulls and keeps them from kind of falling off, right? We saw what happened on the road against Georgia. He's their leader. So as much as they're going to make threes, right? You've got to kind of live, not that you don't defend the perimeter, but where Auburn lost this game last time in Coleman was they got their ass kicked on the boards.
Yeah.
You can't give up offensive rebounds to a smaller team that shoots really well. So tonight, I expect Auburn to feed Janai Broome, to feed Chaney Johnson, to get Jalen Williams in the post and work it inside out. Predicting this game, again, like I said, it's hard to bet against Auburn at home. Should be an incredible atmosphere, and it should be a hell of a matchup. But if you can find a way to slow down Mark Sears and win on the boards the way they did against Ole Miss, you got to like Auburn's chances tonight. Duke's going to beat the hell out of Notre Dame.
Notre Dame's bad.
I love the Burton kid that Notre Dame has, the freshman. Creighton's going to Providence. That should be a heck of a matchup. I mean, it's Big East basketball. Who the hell knows? But probably outside of the SEC and the Big 12, my favorite conference to watch. Our guy Tim Brando calls a lot of those games. But Blaine, last night, kind of a letdown game for North Carolina. Huge win for Brad Brownell and Clemson going on the road in Chapel Hill. North Carolina got behind the 8 ball early, made a run late, but it seemed like every time they got close to Clemson, whether it was P.J. Hall or one of those huge white guys that Clemson has down there, they were able to find a way to make a play, hit free throws at the end. But, I mean, that's just been college basketball.
That's basketball. And I do think North Carolina is one of the best teams in college basketball with the depth they have and the way that they're playing. But you never know. I think Clemson's a good basketball team, too. Well, day in, day out, nothing is easy in college basketball. It's not. No, if you're on the road, if you're on home, you never know what team can fall week in and week out.
Yeah, well, and Tim Brando was on the show yesterday. If you didn't watch yesterday, make sure you check that out. It's a hell of a conversation with Timmy B. Said that he felt like Purdue and UConn have separated themselves.
Really?
I disagree on Purdue because I still don't trust whether their guards are good enough to be able to defend these rough and tough guys. I mean, look, Lawyer's very thin. Braden Smith, I love what he does on the offensive side. I know he's working defensively, but he's just small. If you watch what Fairleigh Dickinson did to him last year in the tournament, I know they have that monster down low. Zach Edey from Where the Wild Things Are, 7-footer Island, insert joke here. But they've had Zach Edey. And if I'm playing against Purdue, Zach Edey's going to get his. He's just going to get his. You're not going to stop that, right? Unless you have Napoleon's army and a flamethrower. You're not stopping Zach Edey. So how do you beat Purdue? You stop everything around them. And when I look at, not that they can't make a deep run in the tournament, but they haven't. And a lot of that has been because of their guards. But I will agree with the UConn statement for one main reason. I watched UConn run through that tournament like it was nothing last year.
Yeah.
And they return a lot of those guys. So I will lean on that experience of what Dan Hurley and that staff is able to do late in the year. But, I mean, as far as the landscape of college basketball, it feels like this NCAA tournament, which I cannot wait, which we're going to live stream the first couple days, which is, the best part in my opinion, is as wide open as it's ever been, even more than last year when we had FAU and San Diego State in the Final Four.
There's going to be, and it always happens like this. What 2 to 3 teams
who's it going to be?
Is nobody thinking of?
Is it Indiana State? I'm telling you, like I said the other day, they got this like Dmitry Petrovic's little brother.
With the glasses?
With the glasses?
Yeah.
Look, somebody's out there playing at a high level with goggles on that's built funny. That's the stuff that worries me.
Jokic's secret lost brother?
That's what I'm saying. Like, this the guy you go to the Y, he may be middle-aged, he may run funny, he may have more, braces on his legs and arms. I mean, looks like just like the walking wounded. And then all of a sudden, how do we get skunked? 10-0. He's out there just working pump fakes.
But if you had to pick a team right now, all right, out of the top 15.
You talking about out of the top 15
to make a run in March Madness, who would it be?
To make a run that out of the top 15, I think South Carolina's at 15. I tell you what, a team that I think is, and I'm going to reach way out there, that I think is really sneaky, I'm going to go with the team that I just said. Give me Indiana State.
Really?
Give me the Sycamores. Give me the Sycamores to make it to the Sweet 16.
Okay.
I hate picking Final Four teams right now because I don't know where you're at on the bracket. You could have two guys, two of the teams that I think are going to make it in that same region, and you can't get past the Elite Eight because you got to play each other eventually. So I'm going to wait on the Final Four. But give me Indiana State.
I love it.
Give me the Sycamores. But you know what else I want you to give me? The Booster Club. That's what I want.
Okay, let's go to Tristan Tussey. What is up, my guy? Says Tennessee's in a good spot for March Madness. Can they finally get over the hump this year?
Yes, and since David Cohn's not here, we're going to say good things about Tennessee, and it's not going to jinx y'all. Dalton Connect, I think, is the difference. And I know that's obvious, right? If you keep up with college basketball at all, that isn't some revelation. But it's important because whereas Tennessee lost games in the NCAA tournament, right? Whether it was early, right? Tennessee hadn't made a lot of consistent runs. A lot of people talk about Rick Barnes can't get it done in the tournament. You can't make it to the Sweet 16 with Kevin Durant, blah, blah, blah. But Tennessee's been really good defensively, and it's been Vescovi and a little bit of Ziegler trying to find ways to score in the tournament. And if you shut those guys down, you really chop Tennessee in half. Well, with Dalton Connect, to me, which I call him Diet Luka, which I don't think he's going to be as good as Luka. I'm not saying that, but if you look at the way he's built and the way he plays, there's some similarities there. He's a guy that at any point in time is a matchup nightmare, all right? At any point in time, when you're going through a lull, like I was talking about with Mark Sears, can go get you a bucket, right? He can rebound. He's a good passer. He is the final piece of the puzzle to take pressure off Vescovi and Ziegler. And then you look at Idu down low. Tennessee has everything. And, they can shut you down defensively as quick as anybody. So the missing piece has been that offensive unicorn for Tennessee that's kind of put the jigsaw puzzle together. I think Dalton Connect, if he can stay healthy, is that guy. I mean, the guy's just scoring at an immense rate. You can't stop him. I mean, the shot, and if the shot's not falling, he can get in the bag and drive, and he can rebound and do things like that. So, look, I think this is Tennessee's best chance. It's going to be very hard for me not to have Tennessee making a really deep run. I mean, in general, the SEC and basketball, man, coming down the stretch.
It's amazing. Right when we bring up Tennessee, guess who pops up in the chat?
David Cohn.
David Cohn.
Does he have an announcement?
He does. David Cohn, so I guess I'll read it out loud. It says the Booster Club grows.
Yes.
Mary Marie Cohn has arrived. Mama and baby doing
baby number
great.
3. Congrats, David.
Dave.
And Darby Lou.
Congratulations,
baby
Dave.
number 3
Dave, you worked really hard for this. I know you had to go through a lot.
Look, replacement Cohn and sidekick Pylon Boy. They're pretty excited about that as well.
Pylon Boy. This is just a sitcom ready to happen.
It is. We should write our own sitcom.
I think so.
I like that.
Brain turning. All right, let's go to Lee Thompson. He wants to know, what's your thoughts on the Illinois basketball team? Are they good enough to make a run?
Look, I mean, I like Illinois' physicality. I just worry about the stretches, and I know Shannon's back and things like that. I worry about the stretches that Illinois goes without scoring. I feel like offensively, are they consistent enough in a game where you run into somebody in the second round of the NCAA tournament, and we've all been there before. They're closing their eyes and hitting shots. If Illinois gets down and has to fight their way back offensively, I know they're a pretty good rebounding team, right? They'll go down there and get physical. They're not afraid to muck it up. But can they get out of that hole offensively that we've seen them kind of go through in spurts? But when you play in a conference like the Big Ten, I mean, you're tested every single week. They've got some quality wins already. But it's just getting out of the streakiness of the offense and the lack of consistency shooting from the Illinois team. And I know you know what I mean there.
All right, let's go to Christopher. It says, South Carolina is building a pretty solid damn resume. How do you think they will end up being at the end of the year?
Well, look, I think South Carolina already is who they are. If you're a South Carolina fan, I think, and look, this is a high-class problem, is you're kind of worried, are you playing too good too early? I mean, you're 19-3. You're 8-2 in the conference. You let Ole Miss come back a little bit last night, but when I look at South Carolina, it's amazing when you don't have it. And Auburn's a little bit like this. And you see a lot of really good college basketball teams, especially ones that make runs in tournaments. You don't always have to have the superstar. When I look at South Carolina, they've got a bunch of guys that are good enough to be effective, but they're also not so hyped up that it's like them and everybody else. Everybody knows their role, whether it's Michi Johnson, whether it's Mack, whether it's Gray, whether it's Cooper, right? Whether it's Murray Boyles, the freshman they got, who I absolutely love. Everybody knows their role. Nobody tries to do too much. They're physical, they're big, and they play defense. I mean, South Carolina's defense, they get you out of what you're doing. It's almost like Houston. And I'm not saying they're the same teams, right? But Houston gets you out of what you do. They get you out of your rhythm. If you want to run, South Carolina doesn't want to run on offense, right? They want to slow everything down. You have some teams, like, and I'll use Auburn again as an example, that kind of want to get out and run on offense, and it can affect your defense. With South Carolina, that's not what they're doing. They want to slow it down. They want to move it around the perimeter. They want to get a good look. They want to crash the boards. They want to make you dribble it down and get into your sets on offense, because they do such a good job of denying people the ball down low, and they move well enough at guard to stay in front of people. So if you're South Carolina, is your ceiling unbelievably elite? Like, are you going to be able to go and just shoot the lights out consistently? I don't see that, even though they've shot the ball well. But the style of play that South Carolina plays, it's almost like playing a triple option team. It's just different than you get from a lot of different places, but they're hitting timely shots. Lamont Paris, to me, is the coach of the year in all of college basketball right now, not just the SEC. It's been incredible to watch what he's done.
All right, let's go to Chase Mills. He wants to know, what is your thoughts on the Dayton basketball team, and are they sneaky enough to maybe pull some fantastic things at the
Well, look, I mean, they're in the top 25. I don't think they're sneaking up on anybody anymore. Is Anthony Grant still the coach at Dayton, the former Alabama coach? I believe he is. I want to say I'm right there. But again, look, does Dayton have enough depth? That's the question that I have whenever you're looking at a mid-major, quote unquote, or group of five basketball team. Do they have enough depth? That remains to be seen. But look, they're winning. Have they played the greatest competition? No, but they're beating who's been put in front of them. So look, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that they can't do it, especially talking about the parity in college basketball. But do they have enough depth to do it? That's a totally different thing. But whether it's Dayton, whether it's Auburn, Alabama, whether it's Tennessee, whether it's Purdue, there's nothing like watching your favorite sport in action. All right, the fans, the food, there's just something about catching the live show, going to the game. And that's why the Game Time app is the best way to get tickets to anything. It doesn't just have to be sports. It can be concerts. Hell, it can be a dude hula hooping on top of a building. All right? If there's a ticket to it, Game Time has it, and they have the best price. It's the fast and easiest way to buy tickets online. Here in Nashville, we got the Preds, right? We got the Titans. There's always something going on with concerts. And with Game Time, we can get tickets up to an hour before the event, right? Maybe you forgot Maybe you made a last-minute decision, right? You called an audible. Hey, let's go to the Kenny Chesney concert. Well, guess what? Game time, woo, they got you covered, literally surrounded. All right, so one of the best perks of their apps also is being able to see what view you'll have from your seat ahead of time. And with Zone Deals, you pick the section and Game Time picks the seats for big time savings. They also have flash deals and sponsored deals on tickets. You'll always get the best price guaranteed. And if you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time, they'll credit you 110% of the difference. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Here's how you do it. It couldn't be easier. You download the Game Time app. You go to the App Store, you type in Game Time, you download it. You create an account. Once you create that account, you use code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, for $20 off your first purchase. Again, download the app, create an account, redeem code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, get $20 off. Do it right now. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Terms apply. Game Time. It's always in the game. All right. I want to get to reactions. We're going to get to phone calls here in about 5 minutes. Justine, you're going to be the one piping in the phone calls today, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm so proud of you. Let's get to some reactions here, and let's set this up.
Set it up.
I want to know what people think here in the Booster Club. And all right, look, I'm not trying to be mean, but
I am.
Blaine's trying to be mean.
For sure.
This was sent to me by a fan of the show. Apparently, this is a women's SWAT team from Chile, all right? And listen, I love women. Okay, hell, I married one, the greatest woman of all time. All right, Reed Crain. But, so apparently there was this challenge that was given that a women's SWAT team could finish something as fast as a men's or whatever. And this is just going to hammer home the point that men should not be in women's sports. All right, so there's like an American Ninja Warrior obstacle course set up. This is the Chilean team. If you're listening on audio, you may want to head over to YouTube or the Daily Wire to watch this. Let's go ahead and play the clip now. All right, so hey, I need to be rescued.
Right. Not a great start.
Chileans women's SWAT team.
Run.
Let's go.
Run. Why are we jogging? Run.
All right.
Run.
Getting to the first obstacle here.
The first obstacle.
Yep, it's a zip line over a little bit of water.
In the UE SWAT
All right,
It's already a disaster.
Yeah, grab it. Let's go. There's the first. There's the second.
It's a disaster.
The third. There's the
oh my God.
No.
Oh
No.
my.
Let's go.
Oh my. Oh.
They're stuck.
No.
They're stuck in the middle of the zip line. Now they're in the water.
no.
You didn't get past the first obstacle.
What are we doing? Like, what did we practice?
Look,
It just sounded like they did. Like you knew what you were doing. Look how bad this is. At some point, just let go.
I mean,
Just let go.
is there such things as all women like SWAT teams or whatever? And I
hope
know
not.
there's a lot of women that can complete this course easier. The funny part of this is not that they're women, it's that they're supposed to be a SWAT team full of women, and look at them, they can't even get past the first zip line obstacle.
Can you just imagine?
So if you go to Chile, don't ever call the
If you're
women's SWAT team.
if
You're a hostage.
if you're a hostage, all right, and you look up, and this guy's got a gun to your head, and you look up, and the Chilean all-women SWAT team is doing this.
No.
On the way to come.
See, look, this is like the equity thing or whatever. Like everybody should do everybody's job. There's a reason that for every war of all time, when there's been a draft, it's all dudes. And one of the reasons is we can't be going to blow the bridge up to stop the Nazis, and your ass can't get past the zip line over the creek.
Yeah, we can't blow the bridge up because you don't feel like it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's not even
that's
that.
the
It's
thing
you
with
gotta-
like feminists that like, what's the difference between a feminist and a knife?
I don't like where this is going.
Well, a knife has a point, right? Like, no. Don't just because you're like the best should do it. All right, doesn't
The
matter
best should do
if you're
it.
a woman.
There you
if You're
go.
a guy. If you're a giraffe or you're an elephant. But what I just saw made me worse.
And a
as
SWAT team
person.
full of giraffes?
Dangerous.
You want to talk about scaring the terrorists?
Dangerous. There should be a draft you can run up
Like
the
we get
neck on the
attacked by
building.
Toys R Us or what?
Dude,
All right, let's go to the next one. That was hold on real quick. What's the Booster Club saying about this?
they're just laughing their ass off at this point.
That was bad.
It's bad. Like
That
you
was
can't.
bad.
It'd be different. We're on obstacle 3, you know, and it's like the running wall.
Yeah, you got to
run up
do
the
like
wall,
some crazy.
But we can't get past the first obstacle. That pushed back women's rights 20 years.
Yeah, it did.
Y'all are back at the beginning now.
Yeah, you got to start over.
You blame the Chileans.
Yeah, I agree. All right, this next one. This one got sent to me, and this to me is a perfect microcosm of where we're at in society. We're at a point where we have a dangerous mixture of talent and stupidity. So these guys are going against traffic on bicycles, and oh boy wants to go Evel Knievel and pop a wheelie and weave through it. Let's go ahead and play this clip right here. So he's weaving through, like you're driving, Blaine. You're driving a car, and somebody is doing that.
You're catching it.
While you're driving. I'm not swerving out of the way.
You're catching every bit of it.
You know what they say? Like, I was told when I started driving, right? Not that I want to hurt anybody, but I want to protect myself, especially my family's in the car. A deer runs out in front of the car.
Hit it.
You don't swerve. You got to hit it, man.
Hit it.
It's unfortunate. If you're stupid enough to get on a bicycle, especially a pink one, and go against traffic and pop wheelies while I'm driving towards you, guess what, man? If you wear the hood of my car, that's on you.
Yeah. Two things here. One, this is how important fathers are in kids' life. Because I would be too deathly afraid to ever do something like that and then have to go home after getting caught and talk to my dad. And another thing, like, this is one of the reasons why we have sports, all right? To keep kids out from doing dumb shit like this.
Well, look, here's what I'll say. Like, I don't think it's even fathers or anything like that. Just as a human being, you should be smart enough not to do that. Like, you, regardless if you're scared of going home to your dad, I'd be scared to get hit by a car.
But sometimes, like, as a kid, all right?
I never wanted to do that as a kid.
Before you do something stupid, all right? Well, at least to me, before I did something stupid, the thought of my father.
You mean like chasing iguanas down in Mexico?
The thought of that was not stupid.
No. What?
I asked permission for that.
No.
And got permission and still got in trouble.
Tell that story.
That's fine. Look, I don't travel a lot in my life. The one place I've been out of the country is Mexico.
How old were you?
How old was I? 10?
You were like 10. I was like 13.
Okay, I was 10 or 11. So we went down to Mexico as a family trip. We went with a couple more families. And a couple of the kids are down there. One was named Blake, and the other name was Kale.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And look, we go to Mexico. My parents are drinking. They're having fun and stuff like that. So me, Blake, and Kale walk up to their dad, Mr. Bullock, and say, hey, we're going to go run around and look for iguanas.
So we got to tell me, there's iguanas
in Mexico,
running around.
The resort.
Like legitimate iguanas running around the resort.
Yeah, they're running around the resort. So we tell them, all right, and we go maybe 3, 4, 5 hours. Go hunting iguanas, okay?
Hunting iguanas or just trying to catch them?
A little bit of both, all right? I come back, and you would have thought that I was gone for 3 weeks, all right, and just crawled out of the bottom of a basement from the cartel. Apparently, Mr. Bullock never told my dad.
Blaine, you disappeared in
my
Mexico
dad or my mom.
hours.
They were with me.
I thought Jim Caviezel was going to have to.
So everyone thought I got kidnapped by the cartel when I came back. If you want to talk about a terrible Mexico trip, I got my ass beat for an hour.
Yeah, that was.
Horrendous.
We literally.
I never want to go back.
My mother was bawling, running around the resort. My father was like just trying to find anybody to intimidate to find out where he was going to have to go. Liam Neeson.
I would never get kidnapped. Like,
yes, you would.
I would never get
first
kidnapped.
person to get kidnapped.
I would never get kidnapped.
You would be the first person to get kidnapped.
I would end up running the cartel if they came and tried and got me.
Can't even speak Spanish.
That's what would have happened. I got to pull out the muchacho. Yeah, I can.
You would weave in between cars.
Yeah.
To us, a
no, I would not.
Hey,
you know why? Because
Justine,
of my father.
The craziest story from that trip, though, is that my father, again, God, may he rest in peace. God bless him. I was 13, and we were in a pool with a basketball goal. And I was playing against this Scottish dude, had to be 17 or 18. He was like twice my size. So we're playing basketball in the pool. My dad's on the other end. He's got a just Jack and Coke sitting there watching. And I'm like making shots every now and then. And when I make one, the dude, because we're in a pool, would check the ball back to me and splash water in my face. And you got to understand, all right, my father was an All-American linebacker that was raised by a cowboy, okay, from the country. So this happens about 3 times, and I'm just trying to win the game of one-on-one. And so he's like, hey, Jake, come here for a second. So I tell the Scottish dude, I'm like, hey, man, give me 1 second. So I go over there, and my dad's like, if he splashes that ball again in your face, you take him outside of the pool and you whip his ass. And I'm like,
this dude's like 23.
I'm looking at my dad. I'm like 13 years old. This dude's like 18 and twice my size. And so I was like, I'm not going to say no. So the whole time over there, I'm walking back. I'm like, God. Because every time he's checking it and splashing me, it's because I made a shot, right? So I'm like, do I just miss on purpose? But deep down, I couldn't miss on purpose. I couldn't lose on purpose.
Limit your skills,
so, of course, the next shot I shoot goes in. And I'm like, oh, my God. So I look over at my dad, and he's like the Jack Nicholson from like Anger Management. He's like, yes. So, of course, oh boy splashes me in the face. And so I basically just close my eyes and take a swing at him, and I hit him, and it didn't even do anything. He like throws me literally out of the pool. That's how much bigger he was than me. So my father starts running after this dude who takes off to go run to his dad, who's also Scottish.
Let's go, baby.
So I'm running out of the pool after both of them. And we get out to the beach where this dude's dad is, and my dad is MFing this dude's dad, who has no idea
what's going on.
So they're MFing each other. And all of these, like, the Mexican security guards, like, blowing whistles. Like, my dad's like a bull. Yeah. Like, 6'2", 240. They're, like, blowing whistles, running a circle around.
Play linebacker in the league.
Well, and this is just how my father was. Literally 10 minutes later, him and the Scottish dude's dad are having a drink at the bar.
That's how it works.
Like, and now they're best friends.
That's how it works.
So there's a little story time for you.
Boxy Islam said they would give Blaine back after 5 minutes.
They would. They would pay a ransom to us to give Blaine back.
It's like, yo, y'all got Xbox in here, or what's the deal?
Yeah, it's like, this kid's a terrorist.
Okay, are we going to get to this last reaction?
All right, let's get to this last reaction before we get to the phones.
Broke people watching a football game. To me, that is as dumb as a box of rocks. For a person to be broke and watch a football game or a basketball game or a golf tournament or a race, you're watching somebody else win when you're losing. How could that possibly be interesting to you? Unless you're studying how to win. And then you're delusional enough to call those people on that team your team. They might be your team, but you ain't their team. Is that too tough? Am I swinging too hard first thing in the morning? Myron, don't you want to see them? No, I don't want to see them. I want to be them. I want somebody watching me play games for money on TV. That's what I want. I'm broke, and I want to watch somebody get paid $30,000 to play a game, and I'm broke, trying to figure out how to pay my light bill. But I'm getting excited because my team won. No, you are making your team lose because your real team is your family.
Yeah, I couldn't disagree with that more. Now, look, if you're spending the money that you should be spending on groceries and gas to go to games, that's one thing. Or if you're buying these luxurious packages where you can watch, all 15 NBA games every night, I don't know why you'd want to do that, at least until the playoffs. I get it, but a couple things. One, sports are a great outlet for people to relieve stress, to be able to kind of escape into their team. Right? And if you've ever grown up around a sports team or been around a community that's invested in the sport team, you know how much that team gives back to the community. The second part is, obviously, you've never heard of sports gambling because if you're watching a game and you're trying to make money and you've gambled on it, obviously, you need to watch that game and you're trying to make money. I don't understand the premise of why it would be so bad to watch sports as long as you're working. I don't really get where he's going.
It feels like it just, look, you can run down a rabbit hole when it comes to anything, right? It's not that deep.
Well, what are you supposed to be?
It's really not that deep.
Well, what are you supposed to be doing? I mean, so if you're trying to get out of a hole, or if you're broke, are you just not allowed to watch sports? Are you not allowed to do anything that's not making you money? See, to me, that would be obsessive to the point where even if you started making money, who the hell would want to hang out with that person?
Yeah, this is like reminds me of the guy who watches like 5 hours of motivational TikToks every day, then feels the need to go preach motivational TikToks. To like, not everything in life is a Kobe Bryant quote.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just not. It's not that deep. Look, no matter how much money you have, okay, you can watch your favorite team. Like, you can watch your favorite sport. So it makes life great. You get to watch the things that, no, not everybody's going to be rich. Not everybody. Obviously, you want to win. Obviously, you want to support your family. Obviously, your team is your family. But, it makes, obviously, being part of a family great. Waking up on Sunday morning and watching your
family. He talked about that team doesn't care about you. How about this? How about I drive you to Auburn, Alabama, buddy?
Yeah.
I'll show, again, some of these towns run on these teams. Some of these guys' future are built around the opportunity that team's, that town's team gave them. That they feel like they're protecting their home turf. It's again, it doesn't matter where you're from. We all end up at the same place. I mean, man, that makes us family. So I think he's really off base. I mean, if your point is if you're out here spending money that you don't have recklessly, or you're out here if you're just sitting around watching sports all day and you're broke and your family's starving and the car's doesn't have any gas in it and there's no light bill.
Levels.
Well, of course, you're not doing something right, but that doesn't mean you can't compartmentalize your time to be able to watch sports. That's, I disagree with that wholeheartedly. But got a couple callers on the line, 1-855-236-3228. Let's go ahead and get to that call, then we'll just go back and forth to the Booster Club when the calls come, Justine.
All right, this is Drew from Boston.
What's up, man?
Hey, guys. Definitely want to shout out to Jake's monologues and maybe congrats to the old man, Get Off the Lawn. David Crain.
Yeah. He had to get off my lawn prepared today, but a child decided to get on his lawn, and obviously now...
All right.
Yeah, we're super excited about that.
But this is going to be a little tribute to the master of mid, Blaine.
Yes.
He nailed it before the new year, but we'll put it out. So all the schools that think, maybe Auburn and other fans that think they might have a mid college football or basketball team, this is going to be the most mid college football and basketball team.
Let's do it.
Dance.
So football, most common record is 6-6. Typically make the Kohler Toilet Bowl, usually lose. And the story for about the past 20 years. Always the biggest kid at the children's table.
Yep.
By far the worst home field advantage in the country. Games are more like a tailgate before an NFL game on Sunday. Or a chance for the opposing fans to see their historic city or see their team up close. History, 90s. Students would watch the games from the parking lot, tailgate, or student housing right by the mods. If they were within 20 at halftime, they'd go in. People typically would only go to 2 games in a season.
Can I guess who this is?
Highlight was Blaine knows who it is. But I'll let you guess before I say it.
Vanderbilt.
Highlight was a close loss to Miami. In the 80s, they had a historic lure that gave hope to everyone with their Heisman Smurf miracle pass. Amazing career in Canada.
Yep. I know who that is.
Yep.
Keep going.
You know it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Even more than football, let's get to the most mid basketball team. Make March Madness, every 4 years, I'd say, on the presidential cycle, always lose in the first round. Once a decade, they lose in round 2. Only Sweet 16 they're ever going to go to is a high school 16-year-old's birthday party. They do have a history of gambling scandals, point shading like the Black Sox. Can't even do that well. On occasion, there's a good 3-point shooter or a misfit from 7-footer island, but never both. And somehow they can outdo the football team with home court advantage, the worst home court advantage in the country. It's like an old folks home near the court, and the students have to sit in the back if they come at all. So who is this most mid football and basketball team?
Okay, for football, it's Boston College.
You got it.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
For basketball, God, I want to say Vanderbilt because he brought up the gym, but I think that's wrong. Think about it. Go over the basketball one more time, Drew.
Puts out first.
All right. Yep. Make March Madness, every 4 years, and I'm being rough here. I'm not. This is exact facts. Almost always losing the first round. Once a decade, losing the second round. They do have now here I guess this is a real clue. In the 90s they did have a history of a gambling scandal. People would, that's what I'm point shaving, and the Black Sox is a clue, and can't even do that well. They went to jail. They had all right. I'll give you.
Arizona State.
All right. I'll give you a guy. Going back a way, Dana Barros, great 3-point shooter. Misfit Island is today, we'll call a big guy at the post from 7-footer island. And
God,
Blaine was onto it. Nailed it before the new year.
Who is
God? Why can't I remember back that far?
I got the football one, so we're at least going to split here.
Well, gambling scandal.
Well, I mean, did
UNLV
have a gambling scandal? Was it them?
God, I thought Arizona State had a game.
I thought Arizona State, because I watched the documentary on Netflix where they were going through like different betting scandals, and Arizona State was one of them.
This is going to piss me off.
You're getting too far away. It's kind of a trick.
It's closer. It's closer to home.
Yeah.
God, if you say Auburn,
No.
No.
Um,
No.
I don't know, Drew.
All right. Well, it is those same Boston College Eagles.
That's
Wow, God.
God.
And if you
they're
watch the
double
game last
mid?
night-
They're double mid?
Because I didn't think it'd be both. But
double mid. If you watch I had to call and watch the game last night. They had to keep showing the same 3 fans.
Yeah.
At a pretty big game.
Well, you know
But
what?
thanks, guys. Love what you do.
Oh, Drew, thanks so much.
Great call.
Buddy. Got another call from Boston. We talked about Boston College. If you get a breakaway from the Power Five, from the Group of Five in college football, is Boston College going to be one that breaks off with the Power Five or not? Like, what happens to those in between teams? That's what I find fascinating. That's the part that I find interesting. But Justine, let me know when we have another one. If we do or not, or we'll go to the Booster Club. Let's go to the Booster Club.
all right.
Call in.
Yeah, go ahead. Justin, go ahead and put the number in the chat if you can.
1-855-236-3228. Y'all wake y'all's ass up this morning.
Let's go to G. Hurt. He says, I like this guy's take, but it kind of reminds me of me watching the Lions for the past several decades. Does it make it better when you are cheering for a team that is losing a lot, but finally they do get over a hump and start winning?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you talking about he likes the guy's tape that talks about not watching sports?
No, you don't want the reaction, yeah.
I mean, I don't think that's what he's saying. I think he's saying that watching sports is pointless unless you're a bajillionaire. That's what he's saying. To me, again, I think, going through whatever your team's going through is part of the fun part. Now, again, you've got to be able to compartmentalize. If you've got no money and instead of buying groceries, you're trying to buy a ticket to the NFC Championship game, well, then, yeah, like that's stupid. But that can be in any realm or anything like that.
All right, let's go to SBG28. He says, look, I'm all for college football, but I can't wait for more basketball talk. Is Coach Cal going to blow it again this year?
Well, for the last godly, almost going on 3 years, I've sat here and said this about Coach Calipari, and, Kentucky fans gave me a lot of hell about it. But I mean, at some point, like, you're paying this guy, what, $12 million a year to just really not do anything? I mean, Kentucky's not dominating. Kentucky is playing second fiddle in the SEC now. What, Bama's got 3 SEC championships? Auburn's got 2 in like the last 6-7 years, something like that. Kentucky's got, what, 1? I mean, again, I look at Kentucky now. I mean, there is a provision, though. I will say this. In Calipari's contract, because they gave him that lifetime contract, quote unquote, that they could move him to an administrative or an assistant role in the 2024-2025 season. Because Kentucky is going to recruit at a high level because it's Kentucky. Not saying that John isn't a great recruiter, but at some point, man, y'all got to start doing something from a ring standpoint. Like, it's Kentucky. This wouldn't be acceptable at other places that spend this much money. And that's their thing. I mean, nobody does less with more than John Calipari. Nobody does more with less than Mark Stoops. So, I mean, yeah. I mean, there's that sliver. There's that opening. So we'll see what happens.
All right, let's go to Peter Abrahamson. What is up, my guy? He says, I love watching sports, but deep down, it is a waste of time and a distraction. Don't watch sports. Go play sports instead.
That's bullshit to me. Like, what? That watching sports is a waste of time? So then watching anything is a waste of time. Watching a cooking show is a waste of time. Watching HGTV is a waste of time. Why are you watching those 2 weird twins flip that house? Why aren't you flipping the house? Like, again, at the end of the day, people need outlets. You need to be able to, sports is again, if you overdo anything, it's not smart, just like in sports. But I mean, I disagree with that.
All right, let's go to Brian Hall. It says, if someone is a loser and their team is, say, the Raiders, wouldn't that give them even more of a reason to call the Raiders their team?
I mean, I guess. I think we're looking too deep into this. I think we're just looking.
Well, apparently, I think Malcolm Martin said this. The way that was edited, apparently, like, the entire sermon is kind of a different message from anyone. I believe the guy's name's Voodoo. I think Ben Shapiro's had him on his show, a bunch of different things. But the way that was edited, he kind of, I don't know if he kind of came back and kind of changed it a little bit.
What he
apparently
said?
it's like a whole sermon out there.
Yeah, I'd have to hear the whole thing because I think the way that was put, to me, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. All right, let's get back to the phones.
We have a very special caller, and he's on the line now.
What's up, David?
First of all, I just want to say I'm so proud that Replacement Cone finally has a friend. You know,
You talking about Pylon Boy?
Pylon Boy.
worried about that guy for so long, but I can't wait for the coming sitcom with Replacement Cone and Pylon Boy. So maybe he'll leave me alone on Twitter.
Definitely.
But yeah, boys, the Booster Club grows.
Yeah.
Marie has arrived. 8
Love
pounds, 11 ounces, 22 inches long, born 436, and Mama's doing great.
Man, well, congratulations. We're super excited for you. I saw the text message when I got up this morning. What time was she born?
4:36.
4:36. Let's go. Darby, what's up? Congratulations, you guys.
Slept.
We have not slept, but we just wanted to say you are doing a great job. Keep crushing it, and we'll be here at the hospital.
Definitely. Well, shoot, man, I can't wait to meet her.
Yeah, we can't wait either. Y'all have a good one, man. Thanks for
All right.
everything.
Love you guys, man. Y'all keep it going. Just have another one. You're already there. Just have another one.
No.
She said, no, I'm good.
Yeah, 4 under 3. Let's get it. Yeah.
Well, that was fun. Next up, we have Tom from Ohio.
Tommy.
Tom.
Morning, guys.
What's
up,
up?
dog?
Bring the energy, Tom. Let's wake up.
Man, first off, congrats to Mr. Cone and family.
Yeah.
And Blaine, the star of the show, man. You know, you said you like to leave your door open a little more each night. I'm calling to accept the challenge.
Good. Hey, let me know when. I want to be outside just looking.
Look, any night. I don't know if I'm allowed to give my address out on the show, which I'm probably not, but look.
Please don't.
Send my DMs. I'll drop my address, and whenever you feel like you're ready, buddy.
So the door somebody just walk in, just
You can
hey,
do
let's
it
get it.
anytime. You can walk in. It's like a scary movie. I'm over in the corner with the lights off in a nun outfit.
You know, any breaching techniques? Because you'll learn some.
Okay, well, you better have a smoke and some C4, buddy. If you walk in and I'm crawling around on the ceiling, it's going to feel a lot different.
Oh, God, it's like the Legion movie in here.
Oh, by the way, I was the one yesterday that sent in a super chat about my daughter winning her first wrestling
Hey,
title.
congrats, dude.
Congrats. So to keep getting it.
thanks
That's a
for,
great thing to
pointing
know.
that out. She got excited. Here,
Good.
you guys.
Well, tell her again. We said congratulations and keep doing it. Maybe she's the one that can come in and shut Blaine down.
Someone said, Texas that says Tom is calling from the middle of Blaine's living room right now.
Right now, yeah, he's sitting in the chair in your kitchen.
Oh, man.
Oh man.
It'd be great story looking back in 10 years. Thanks, guys. Y'all have a great day.
Hey,
Appreciate
Tom,
it, man.
thanks, buddy. Good stuff.
All right,
That's
next
funny.
up, we have Ben from Nashville.
Yes.
Hey, what's up, boys?
Davies.
What's up?
Yeah, how's it going?
What's up, dude? Who you got in the Super Bowl?
Well, I don't want to give my pick away yet because it's, a lot of people are wondering what it's going to be.
Davies,
I know.
no one cares. Who are you picking for the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I know a lot of people are on pins and needles.
You can't pick Florida.
Listen, my pick is going to move the needle, and I don't want the betting lines to change yet. But I do have a question for you guys. Why is there so much Brock Purdy hate? Because to me, I think it's the perfect underdog story, and yet the dude is just getting crushed everywhere, even though he's leading in every statistical major quarterback category. And secondly, which I think is going to be the biggest news of the entire day, is Taylor Swift.
The reason that people hate Brock Purdy is because he's kind of the I'm trying to think the best way to say this. Yeah, the underdog story is great, but they think that he really doesn't do anything because there's so much talent around him, that he's just a placeholder, that he doesn't do anything special, that he basically just takes the snap, hands the ball off, or throws the ball 5 yards down the field, which isn't true. I mean, we had a guy in the Booster Club earlier talking about how he, leads the NFL or leads the playoffs in yards per pass attempt. I just think that he's not super flashy. He's not elite at anything, and people feel like they could do what he does. I think that that's a lot of the reason that he has the hate. There's no, obviously he was the last pick of the draft, but he didn't come from poverty, or there's no sob story behind the way he came up. So I think it's just because he's not elite at anything, and people think they can do what he does. I think that's
I'm done with it. I'm done with the people who think Brock Purdy's not elite. I mean, two NFC championships already. The guys, look, it's not easy to go out there. I don't care who you have at receiver, at running back, at offensive line, what your defense looks like. It's not easy to go out there and do what Brock Purdy's doing. And don't forget who he beat out to be in this position, all right? I saw something the other day where Shanahan, after they got Trey Lance and all this other thing, came up to the guy, one of the guys' general manager, said, look, to be honest with you, our third-string quarterback's our best quarterback. And that's Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is an absolute dog. I don't care if he's 5'5", if he's 6'8". Brock Purdy is balling. And all the people who don't think Brock Purdy can do it, there's a video out there that I saw. And you bring up Taylor Swift. Halftime, I don't care, but Taylor Swift's favorite number 13.
13.
Right? She won all of her awards, sitting in 13, or row M, which is the 13th letter in the alphabet. Guess what Brock Purdy's number is, baby?
Yeah.
13. Kryptonite. Here we come.
Does Taylor Swift walk off with Brock Purdy at the end of the game?
What?
Well, here's what I think is going to happen.
Drive off in their Tacoma?
Who knows with Taylor Swift? She may just ascend to heaven, halfway through the first quarter. But I think there's a better chance that Travis Kelce, that the Chiefs win, Travis Kelce proposes to Taylor Swift after the game and then retires with his brother. I think there's a better chance of that happening.
Is that a sports bet that's actually going on? Because I would love to see the odds on that.
There's got to be
it's got to be plus 500.
When it comes to the Super Bowl, remember the Super Bowl bets, right? There's going to be some crazy ones out there. And to be honest, I got a guy right now on the inside.
Hold on, stop, shut up.
I got a guy right now on the inside when it comes to certain things.
Okay, stop talking about it.
Another thing, one, you're obviously going to bet how many times they show Taylor Swift. That's got to be a bet out there on TV.
How many? What do you think the over/under is on that?
8.5.
8.5 times?
I bet it's 8.5.
Like from now, like when the game starts, or like when the pregame show starts?
Game starts.
Game starts.
Pre-show don't count.
8 times. So that would be 4 quarters. That would be 2 times a quarter. Yeah. I could see that. I'd probably take the over.
I would actually go in on this with you guys. I would love to do a bet with producer Justine and you guys to see who gets closest.
You remember, you bet on what color the Gatorade's going to be, right? I remember those bets.
Yeah.
All right, heads or tails. How long the national anthem will be.
Yeah. We got a Nancy Pelosi situation going on.
I mean, to be honest, there's a lot of
Davies, we'll talk. I
put a lot of money in Ethereum right after us.
Yeah. Let's just say the Goldfish Bowl's full of fives. Let's just put it that way. All right, Ben. Thanks, buddy.
See you, Ben.
All right, now we have Kevin from Pennsylvania.
Kevin.
What's up, fellas? Guys, love the show. I talked to you guys about Kenny Pickett a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it got me thinking about how do you guys think that, especially in these iPhone days, how do you guys think technology is going to basically take over football and the new, Gen Z group of football players? How do you think that's going to affect them in terms of, their mental sharpness on the field? And are we going to get a less quality football game because of it in the future, next 10, 20 years?
Man, Kevin, it's a great question. Here's the way I think about it. Technology is only getting better, right? We're not going backwards technologically, at least not yet. And on the one hand, if we're going to sit here and say that, fitness and physical training and strength and conditioning is getting better, the players are getting bigger, they're getting faster, they're getting stronger, you're finding ways to be more efficient. I think technology is the same thing, right? It's going to give you a better football acumen. It's going to make it easier to be able to dissect things. Now we have guys with the iPads on the sidelines, the helmet technology, the ability to take film and break it down into all these categories, which we've seen for a while, but that's only getting better. Where I want to see technology be used more is we have to have a better way to know if somebody's got a first down or not, right? There should be some type of chip that's put on the ball that is somehow scientifically together with where the yard mark is, so we know if a ball actually broke the plane 100% or if that ball actually broke the first down mark. There's got to be an easier way to do that. But, outside of that, man, I think it's going to just keep making the game better. I don't think it's going to make it worse. Now, where you worry is, 30 years from now, are we all going to be, are NFL players going to just be playing on an Apple Vision Pro? Are we even going to have guys?
No, it'll get to a certain point where people aren't playing football anymore. It's going to get there.
Like where robots are playing?
Robots will
controlled
be
by people?
Will be controlled by
like real steel?
Because, obviously, you can barely tackle the NFL anymore. Right? They're taking physicality out of the NFL, and one way to bring that back is just take people out of it in general, put robots in there, let people control.
Wait, are you saying that there will actually be robots that are on the field for football?
100%.
You're not saying you put on the VR goggles.
There's not there's not imaginary people out there running around. There'll be actual robots out there playing football.
Can I tell you my idea that I haven't seen anybody do yet? Why would you not, if you were a VR company? All right, and maybe I should just patent this. Somebody will steal it anyway. They probably already have. Why would you not buy a row of tickets, like really good seats, in every stadium, and then sell those as like a VR experience to people where they put it on and it's like they're at the actual game. They can see it.
They do that.
Well, can't we do that? They don't do that.
They do that already.
They don't. I've never seen them do that. Where do they do that at?
They sell VR tickets. They did a lot during COVID.
They sell VR tickets to games.
They did it during COVID.
Like front row?
I don't know if it's front row.
I don't believe you.
I don't know if it's front row, but they...
I don't. Kevin, would you buy those?
Absolutely would not. I hate giving the NFL money. But
look, I respect it.
There you go.
But my view is like, I'm talking about, the kids right now that are, just addicted to TikTok and, and social media and all that. What if that kid's a crazy athlete? His athletic talent, kind of like a Zach Wilson kind of thing. Oh, he throws a deep ball. Let's get him in the NFL. Well, he can only, keep his brain span for about 5 seconds. Then it goes out the window,
Well, if we've gotten to that point, then I think sports are going to be null and void anyway.
It cuts both ways.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of kids who will fall into that, and there's a lot of kids who won't. Like the best football players I've ever seen never end up really playing football. They never ended up making it, right? And there's reasons you can find, regardless if it's social media or whatever it is, but there's going to be obviously a balance. There's going to be a cut. It's usually 50-50.
Yeah, well, I mean, Pops used to say there's Bo Jacksons walking down the street everywhere. They just didn't get an opportunity, or they blew their opportunity. Kevin, I'm with you a little bit, man. I feel like the better technology gets, the more people are just going to use technology and not go outside and not do the things that people who end up playing sports, kind of do. That's going to be interesting to kind of check in on. But we'll hopefully not. I hope not.
Yeah, hopefully not.
But man,
hey, great call, Kev.
Hey, great call, Kev. Thanks, buddy.
Hey, love the show, guys. Have a good one. Bye.
Love you, Kev.
All right, next we have Chase from California.
Chase, what's up?
Good morning, gentlemen. How's your day?
Good,
doing
sir.
Great,
How
man.
are
How you doing?
Pretty good after that win last night. Way to get back on track. That was
a boy.
Winners. We needed that.
Yeah, y'all did. Y'all finally won a big game.
We need to get Bedlam on Saturday because we need to stack a 2-0 week this week because we have Baylor and Kansas next week. So
I tell you what, the funny part is we talk about Texas and Oklahoma, running into the hornet's nest in college football. You're actually SEC basketball is an absolute cluster right now, but the Big 12 I think is the best conference in college basketball. At least y'all are getting out of that nightmare.
Yeah, no, my friend actually made that joke to me yesterday because he just likes to talk crap to me about Oklahoma, and he was like, "Hey, you guys are going into a hellscape basically from football, but at least it's going to get easier for you guys in basketball now."
Without a doubt, not that it's easy in the SEC right now, but I mean, you look at some of those. I mean, look who the Big 12 added in basketball. I mean, holy hell! And Arizona's coming in.
Think about just look at what the current Big 12 right now is doing to Houston and Kansas, and they're going to be there for a while. They can't keep. I was just talking to a Kansas fan the other day. Kansas cannot get out of their own way, and it's crazy because that is such a talented basketball team.
Oh, without a doubt, especially a Furphy.
There's something about me to where I just love watching the Blue Bloods in college basketball lose.
Well, everybody does.
I love it. There's something about watching Kentucky and North Carolina, not Duke.
Well, a lot of it's because when we grew up, all they did was win.
Yeah.
That was like
no parity back in the day.
There was no parity. None at all. None at all. And then obviously, you look now and hell, who's the best team?
What changed? What changed?
Well, I think a lot. I mean, you obviously look at what the transfer portal's done.
Obviously, the portal and the
NIL, because you're dealing with a smaller roster, so you can flip it and build culture quicker than you can in football because it's smaller. But a lot of people have gone away from the one and done theory as well. I just think it's been an evolution. Yeah. It's been a great evolution. I mean, and again. Basketball is one of those sports where there's so many different variables. It's like baseball that, I mean, you can have one guy go out there and win a game, right? If he goes out there and plays really well.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think it's multiple things.
So I wanted to clear up my dono from yesterday, too. I just wanted to throw a couple at you guys. I have a couple teams that I've been watching, and I don't necessarily know if I would say they can win the whole thing, but I'm just calling them teams that if they can somehow get into the tournament, I think they could win, 2 or 3 games. And if you look at that team right now, you'd be like, there's no chance.
Okay.
But I did just want to clear up because I think the grammar got all messed up and I didn't notice it. Jake, yesterday I wasn't trying to say Oklahoma to the Natty as much as I love my Sooners.
Yeah.
Not this time. As much as I love us, not this time. But I do want to see us just make the run, baby. Go as far as we can go.
I hope so. I like Porter Moser.
I do. I like Porter too. So if I had to go with 2 ranked teams, right, that aren't necessarily what Blaine said, the Blue Bloods. I said Dayton in the chat, and I also like not Clemson. Sorry, Creighton. I like Creighton too. Getting in Trey Alexander and Ryan Kalkbrenner are a problem, and then I like that Shireman kid they have too. He's got a lot.
Yeah, Baylor Shireman.
And he plays guard, which is crazy. Like the way he can move with his size. He looks like a power forward, but
no, Creighton's got a little bit of everything. Creighton's got a little bit of everything.
He does. So I wanted to know your thoughts on these 2 unranked teams, though, because again, these are teams that if you look at them right now, it's no, but just hear me out. Hear me out. Mm-hmm. If Clemson got into the tournament, even sitting at they're 13 or 15-7 right now after last night.
Well, I think they're 15-7, and I think they're 4-6 now in the ACC with a humongous road win in Chapel Hill against number 3 North Carolina.
Big quad 1 win, and that's what I was saying was they got that quad 1 win under their belt now.
We got to come up with a new term for that. We got to come up with that. There's quad 1 wins, and then that should be a quad 0 win. Right, you go on the road and beat a top 5 team. That's a squad 1 win. Yeah. That's what I'm gonna start calling that.
Yeah, that's true. Because you beat a top 10 team and they call that a quad 1 win too.
Yeah, so I mean that's like South Carolina beating Tennessee on the road. I mean that's a squad 1 win.
Yes. The other team I was curious what your guys' thoughts were. Michigan State.
Yeah, I mean look, any Tom Izzo coach team
them a lot.
Yeah. I mean, you got Tyson Walker. Athletic. Yeah, you got Tyson Walker. Yep. I mean, Hogard's really turned it up offensively. Hogard. I agree with that.
But honestly, yeah. So, I mean, and you and I, this is the thing about basketball that I was talking to my friend about the other day is you look at a team like Michigan State right now and you go, well, they're not even in the top 25. So how do you relate them to the tournament? Yeah. Anything can happen once the tournament, the conference tournament starts.
I'll take old guards. I'll take teams with old guards when it gets down to the NCAA tournament. Another team too, Chase, before we get you out of here, watch out. I know Texas, I believe they lost to Iowa State last night, but watch out for Texas. They get in that tournament with Max Abmas, with Cunningham, with Tyrese Hunter and some of the guys they got. But Chase, as usual, man, thanks for calling in, buddy.
All right, we got time for... Oops, sorry.
Thanks, buddy.
We have time for one more. Andrew from Kansas.
Andrew,
what is up?
Hey, guys. How are you this morning?
Doing good, man. How are you doing?
Good. Hey, firstly, congrats to Cone on the 3rd kid there.
Yes. Another one for the Horde.
Life gets interesting. I got 4, so.
Nice.
Yeah, it's got 4 under 5. It's a wild house.
God bless you.
That's what I try and tell myself every day. Hey, so a couple things. I called in December, and I was asking why Patrick Mahomes wasn't in the running for the MVP because he was doing a whole lot with really basically Kelsey and no one else. And Cohen said, "Well, just wait. When we get to January, you won't be talking about that anymore. You'll be talking about him going to the Super Bowl." And in my head, I was thinking, well, there's really no way. I was watching the team and I was like, gosh, this is just not. Well, here we are. So,
Andrew, what's more impressive though? What's more impressive? The years where the Chiefs, had Tyreek Hill and Mahomes was putting up all these crazy numbers and winning the MVP, or what he's done these past 2 years with a very average skill position roster, outside of Travis Kelce. To me, this is more impressive, right?
This is totally way more impressive. And the reason being, it's become a team effort. You've got the defense. We had no defense before last year, the 3 years before that, there was no defense. It was all offense. And so this last 2 years, the defense has actually kind of got put together, and everything's just clicked. And one of the things I've been seeing was Steve Spagnuolo. His wife moved to Kansas City, I think it was last summer. And since then, everything's clicked. And everybody in the locker room, I guess, thinks, this and that and the other thing.
And Steve seems a little bit more relaxed.
Hey, what do they say? Behind every strong defensive coordinator is a strong woman who just moved here the past year and a half.
Yes.
Exactly. But shifting gears here, how about that K-State KU game the other night?
Well, I had the under as a personal bet.
Which hit?
No, it didn't. They went into overtime.
Well, Cone had the under and it hit.
Cone had the Cone had Cone had
it once. He had it at
I had it at like 134 or something like that. And they went into overtime on some BS and the overhit. But look, Jerome Tang, they needed that one, buddy.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show you the Big 12. Yeah. I mean, it's like, again, what I say, it's like getting jumped by a group of ninjas, like when you walk in your house.
Yeah.
I mean, every 3 days.
Well, and hopefully that's the jumpstart we needed, because the last 3 games have just been horrendous.
Yeah, y'all have been really up and down.
Yeah, I think it was Saturday, we had 13 points in the first half. I mean, it was just atrocious.
Yeah.
13 points?
Sounds like the Chilean women's SWAT team.
Yeah, we had like 1 point at 12-minute mark. It was crazy.
I saw a women's game where Gonzaga beat somebody 109-30.
It's so bad.
How does that happen?
It's so bad. We need a mercy rule at some point.
Yeah, like there should be a mercy rule.
Why do I not just bet women's basketball? What am I doing? What am I doing?
Well, and then the other thing there with the Cats there is that guard we have, Tyler Perry.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
He's a bucket.
Next marquee. Yeah. No kidding.
Medea shoots a 3.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
man, great call.
Andrew, thanks, man.
Great call, dude.
Let everyone else call in tomorrow.
Yeah. Maybe Cone will be back. We'll see. All right.
Hopefully not.
God, Blaine, your handwriting's so funny, dude.
Look, I'm gonna be honest with y'all.
That is interesting.
Look at how Blaine. Look, he writes so little.
I got some tism in me.
Like, look at he writes so little.
It nicked me on the way out.
Yeah. All right, tonight. Went 1-1 yesterday. God, South Carolina just destroying Ole Miss. Got you -4.5. And Alan Flanagan just doesn't miss a shot in the second half, but then turns it over in crucial times. Seen that before.
Yeah.
Speaking of Indiana State, the Sycamore's getting a lot of love tonight.
Yeah.
By the way, one of best safeties I ever signed ended up playing in Indiana State. Give me the Sycamores -20.5 at home tonight. It's going off at -112. Then Duke. Look, they're upset about losing at North Carolina. All right, get to come back at home. Got a team that you're a lot better than. Give me the Blue Devils -16.5. That's going off at -112. What do you got?
All right, let's go to my beautiful handwriting up there. Obviously, being the fan that I am. Give me Bama +4.5 on the road at Auburn, -102. Really hedging my emotions. I'm going with the Dookie Blue Devils. Will you, Crain? I'm going to bet against anybody who Notre Dame is playing.
Yes.
Give me Duke -16.
Love it. All right, let's get to donos in the poll.
Let's get these donos and we'll get out of here. Let's go to Tyrese with a $2 donate. Appreciate it. Says Taylor Swift doesn't hold a candle to Megan Maroney.
Yeah.
I got to look up who Megan
now.
I got to look up who
Is he talking about looks or talent?
Is he talking about looks? Yeah, tell me what she looks like.
I totally
if she's really good looking, just say the word pickles.
I'm sick of everyone saying Taylor Swift's not pretty. Like, get off my lawn.
Pickles.
All
right.
There it is.
Tyrese, good.
Go to DGD Podcast, $2 donation. Says, I'm really liking this replacement cone guy.
Yeah, look, Pylon Boy's doing a good job, too.
You know, not
Should we put a cape on Pylon Boy?
Not big talkers.
No, I feel like we need like put a little suit on him.
A little suit on him?
Yeah.
I think so, too. All right, let's go to Gus Malzahn's useless belt. $5 donation. Jake, I get a shout out to my daughter, Presley.
Yeah.
Yes, I got that name right. After losing every basketball game this year, the Aggies finally got their first W last.
Hey, look, it's how you finish, Presley. It's how you finish.
I love it.
Congrats.
All right, let's go to another one from Tyrese with a $2 donation. Appreciate it. It says, Mahomes sits in the hotel room corner chair.
Yeah.
That's so
he does put ketchup on his steaks.
Ew. All right, Dryo, last round donation of the day, $5 donation. I hit level 28 today. Just want to know what you guys think the ceiling is from Malachi Nelson and the Boise State Broncos.
Look, I want to see Malachi when he's got the job. Again, we've got to see it on the field. He's got all the talent in the world. I tell you, I thought Boise State was one of the best stories of last year that not enough people talked about. Obviously, you know, with Andy Avalos getting let go halfway through the year, what Spencer Danielson did was very, very impressive with the way that team ended the season. Then you keep that momentum going by getting a guy like Malachi Nelson. I tell you what, Boise State is, I talk about Boston College and some of these periphery teams. Will they make the jump to Power 5? I think there's some, quote-unquote, group of 5 schools that could maybe make that move up actually to the Power 5, and Boise State would be one of them.
All right, let's get to the poll. I guess,
what?
It sucks because, we only got one guy guessing. All right, who will win the Super Bowl MVP? Travis Kelce, CMC, Brock Dirty Purdy, or Patrick Mahomes?
All right, you said so both quarterbacks.
CMC.
And
that traitor.
So I think the Booster Club went with Travis Kelce because they can read the signs at 41%.
Mm-hmm.
I think they went Patrick Mahomes 20. No. Patrick Mahomes 20%, CMC 25%. Yeah, and then whatever.
Dude. You're not close.
Not close?
Patrick Mahomes,
Why would you set me up like
36%. Brock Purdy, 19%. CMC, 32%. Travis Kelce, 13%.
Travis Kelce? Come on, man. Y'all not see the way these bouncing balls are lining up?
13%.
Trying to help y'all out. All right.
Good day, chat.
Good job, guys. Placement cone, Pylon Boy.
Yeah.
Proud of y'all. Really proud of y'all for representing. Congrats to David Cone, baby number 3, and Darby Lou. Glad you're doing great. We appreciate you guys. Grab some merch. Check out our sponsors. Game Time, Nugenix. Remember, we're live streaming the Super Bowl this Sunday, so get ready for that. We appreciate you guys. And
will you catch a card?
I'm catching one today.
All right.
Like the chances of the Chilean women's SWAT team getting past that zip line. We're going. Oh, no!
Yeah, I'm going to head out. That was just god awful.
That was bad. Gone. Just go. Just leave.
What that is.